Welcome back everyone. My partner and I have just recently bought the 23Zero Saber Max. We just went and picked it up from the Melbourne depot. I wanted to do a little review on it and an unboxing and installation. So this will be the first part of the video, and then I'll film the next part in about 2 months time, give or take. Obviously someone enjoys the tent already. I thought I'd show it off because there's no videos on the Saber Max yet. I thought I'd give my honest opinion on the durability, the overall toughness of the whole thing. My personal opinion, I'd like to show you how to install it and what I had to do to install mine, and I'd also like to cover all the insides and any questionable things that my partner Courtney and I had about the tent, like the X-frame, so I'd like to cover that as well. So enjoy the video. Right, so I just cut all the crap off it, and let's open her up. Here we go. Right, this is what we have. I guess let's just tear her open and see what it looks like. Right, this is what we're looking at. The build quality's quite nice already. Feels quite nice. I love the roof racks. That's one of the things that sold me on this one, was the roof racks and the hard top. So I just wanted to have a look at this, like the metal and stuff. You feel it's quite tough, especially the rails along here. Like they're not flimsy little rails. Trying to move that around, nothing happens. So far I'm really liking it. I'm liking it a lot. So I've got all the crap out of the way, and now I want to pop it up, have a look at it, make sure it's all good before we put it on the car, because it's heavy as. So we just undo these latches. And according to the manual, all I need to do is just give it a nice pull, and it should pop up. Well, would you look at that, hey? Right. Now I'll have a good look around and I'll let you know if I find anything that's a bit iffy or not, and then we'll go from there. Right, so the first thing I pulled out of the tent was the bag for the ladder and for the bolts. So I'll show you the ladder in a minute. First, we'll have a look at these bolts real quick. What you get in the pack. Get a little tiny little wrench. I'll be using these to secure it down to my tub rack. I'll show you how I do that. You also get these to put onto the end of your rails, which is quite nice, little rail protectors. I'll put those on. Nuts and bolts, see there. Allen key. And then you also get the rails to put in for roof racks, which is quite handy, but I won't be needing those. So that's all that comes in the bag. Now I know how we're going to mount it. We're going to put her on top. So we've managed to get the 10 on. It took 4 of us to get it up there, being 85 kilos I think it was, which was one of the cons for me, but seeing as we're doing a touring setup, I decided it'd be alright. I'll show you how I've mounted it, and so you can get a fair idea of how it all sits on there together. So basically it's got these rails that run along here, which I think like kind of is the standard for rooftop tents. But what I've done, just because I've got this frame and it's got a lot of holes, I've used these like hole spots and just bolted it down. So I've got one there, I've got a couple down here, and then I've got another one down here, and then same on the other side, just one there, a couple in the middle, and then one at the end. Usually you'd get something along the lines of this, so it's kind of like a U-shaped, I guess, bracket, and usually that would sit under your roof racks, and then you can bolt it up to the tent. So you have your bolts through there, and you can bolt it down, right? But so what I've done is just bolted it down to my frame, and that's worked well so far, because it's been about 24 hours since I filmed the last part of this video, and I've driven it around town and it's been fine. It hasn't been shaking around or anything like that. So if you've got something similar, it does work with the top rack. So just for reference, these are about 650mm apart, the two rails, and then the rails are about 50mm in width. So the brackets that come with the tent as well, they're kind of like a slide-in, like rail kind of thing, and then the bolt goes down into it. That all comes with the kit for the tent. It's just these little brackets that slide across, and then they come through down the bottom there like that. So before we move on to opening the tent, I want to go through some of the seals on the outside, like around here. I know that was kind of a big worry for everybody that's buying a rooftop tent. So I want to go over those and show you how well they're built, that sort of thing. And then we'll pop her open and I can show you all around on the inside. So these are the seals that it comes with. It's just like a rubber, I don't know how you describe it. It's just like a rubber sandwich, I guess. And then there's a flap that folds over the top. And as you can see, it's a bit wet now because last night it rained a fair bit, which was actually quite a nice test to do before we take it out this weekend. So I'd just like to run around the tent just to show you. I think that one's my fault. I think I accidentally left a tiny bit out, so don't worry, that was my fault. We'll just run around. There we go, and I'll just show you the back now too. So here's the back now, and one thing that I noticed when opening and closing it was this bit here tends to fold under when you close it because it's got that X frame. But all you need to do is just come over and just pull it out a little bit and it's fine. So that's one thing I advise you to keep a look at as when you're closing it. But otherwise everything is in schmick order. So we'll now move on to opening the tent, and we'll go over the gas struts, the latches, and the ladder, and I'll show you how that all kind of fits together, and then I'll show you some of the inside of the tent, and then to finish I'll show you all the accessories that you get with the tent when you buy it. So now that's done, I'll take you up inside the tent and I'll show you the lights and some of the other features that really sold the tent for me and my partner. So this is the inside of the tent. you see over here, there's just that elastic band. Basically, you have to unclip that. It's just there so when you close the tent, the walls will fold inwards. So then you've got just kind of an easier way to pull the tent in next to those X frames. So one of the other things that sold this for me was the fact that there's ventilation up above the door, and because of the X frame, there is ventilation down here. So there's a lot of spots to air out your tent. So the roof here as well is just like a kind of foam insulation kind of board on the top here, which will be quite nice at keeping the heat in. There's also the lights here, which I wanted to show you, which was quite a big selling point for me personally, because you know, fiddling around with torches and stuff at night trying to get into bed is not very nice. Comes with two switches. We've got this one here, and then we've got this one here. And basically they've got USB points at the end, just USB-A, and then it goes into the circular kind of screw-in point, just like these usual kind of screw-in points there. So this elastic band too is just held on by like two little clips. So just unclip like so, there we go. And then I just usually chuck that off to the side over there, or I'll put it up into the top. So just down in this corner as well, camera can't really get it properly, but that's where the power points are. There is a USB-C and USB-A, and there is a cigarette lighter socket as well. One of the other little bonuses are these top pockets just up here. I love that there's one that's see-through, because you can just chuck your phone down, watch a bit of Netflix or whatever you do, and then there's these pockets, and it's all held in by these nice secure straps, which is quite nice. So you can put, you know, semi-heavy stuff in there. So this is the mattress that comes standard. We've put a sheet on it. We ended up having to get a queen sheet because a double sheet was just too small. That's fit really well for us. You can see that it tucks in real nice. So this is how thick the mattress is. At 70 mil. Really, really comfortable. When we woke up in the morning, it honestly felt like I was waking up in my own bed, which says a lot because usually we have really crappy mattresses for our swags and stuff, but this one really made a difference. And then just under here, here's the condensation mat that comes with it. This is quite thick actually for a condensation mat. Obviously it doesn't take up any extra space when you're closing it down. And then here's the bottom of the tent, so you obviously got a bit of bolt holes and whatever all through for the rails, which honestly you cannot feel at all. But you can see it's just like a, you know, aluminium sheet at the bottom, and it's quite thick, but honestly it's a really, really good tent. So I do want to mention that my partner and I, we put our sleeping bag and an extra blanket in here, and we just store it in here all the time. It fits really well. We don't put our pillows in here just because we've both got kind of a bit thicker pillows, and it just didn't feel right putting them in as well. But if you had thinner pillows, I reckon it would fit perfectly fine. Also like to mention that there's another Velcro strip at the back here for the lights. They work really well. The lights have two settings. They've got the standard white LED, and then they've also got like that red-orange light that's meant to keep bugs away, which appreciated. Yeah, I love the size of the doors and the windows and stuff. Like they're really big. It lets a lot of airflow in, especially when it's hot. So it's been a little bit since I last filmed the first bit of this video. I wanted to go over some of the other stuff that I didn't mention in the last bit because I ran out of time to film it. Right, so one of the things I didn't mention last time was, of course, the X frame. I wanted to cover this because this was the main difference between the other tents, the Saber and the Saber Max. So I wanted to show you that it is quite sturdy. Like as I rock this doesn't even rock around. Like it's the whole top of the tent that rocks, which gave me a lot of reassurance. The other thing I wanted to mention was that I've taken this on one trip now up to Dargo, and it hasn't failed me yet at all. Like it was pretty strongish winds at night, and also it was quite cold, and there was just no condensation at all because we ended up having this window open here, which you get because of the X. That helps a lot of ventilation, and we use the window that's up above the main door as well. We kept that open, and there was just no condensation in it at all. Last thing I wanted to cover was the struts.
You can see that they're quite solid, sturdy struts. If I, shake that around, it's not moving very much. Okay, it moves a little. But, I give it one hard push and the tent just pops up. So it's quite convenient for, my partner. But they're quite strong. Might get one of those poles that you can kind of extend just to hold it up. I honestly don't think it needs it, but, just for personal security kind of thing.
One of the other things that you get with the tent is the accessories bag, or the boot bag, whatever you like to call it. Basically this just hangs off the side of the tent, and when you climb up you can put your boots in it, that sort of thing. I've got size 11 work boots, and mine fit fine with my partner's boots in there as well. So there's a lot of space in there. Big pocket and 4 front pockets like that. And that comes with the tent as well, which is a nice little addition. So you get these types of poles. You can see the little hooks and little ends. I'll show you how to put them in a minute. But for reference, it looks like there's 2 types that you get with the tent. As you can see, this one's got a rubber tip and this one doesn't. And there's 2 of each. So what I think you're meant to do is have the rubber tip ones at the ladder end, like the main entrance, and then these ones go on the side, or vice versa. I still haven't figured it out properly yet, but that's what this video is for me to learn, and then in 2 months time tell you guys, I guess, my review on it and everything. So now onto the pros and cons. We've come up with 10 pros and 2 cons, which is a very big difference. In saying that, of course, this list is a little bit biased due to the fact that I really like this tent, but every rooftop tent owner's going to think their tent's the best. So in saying that, I want this to be more of an honest opinion, so you get a grasp of if you want to buy this tent. We came up with these 10 pros. Number 1, we have the great build quality. Honestly, really well built. It's strong, it's tough, nothing feels flimsy or not durable. Number 2, we've got the roof racks. I really like the roof racks. That was a big selling point for me because I can chuck the tracks up there or swag or something like that. They do have a load capacity of 20 kilos, but that's not that bad. Number 3, we've got the seals. Seals on the tent are really well done. As you could see in the video, that there was no water that could get in, and it rained and everything like that, and it was completely dry on the inside, which I really appreciated. At number 4, we have the ventilation. With the X-frame and having that extra window at the end, it made it really, really airy in there, and it was perfect because there was no condensation at all. Number 5, we've got the power on the inside, which isn't a necessity, but it is a bit of a quality of life feature. Number 6, we've got the mattress that is 70mm thick. That is a major bonus, especially when you're touring around the place and you're staying a couple of nights. It's very, very comfortable. Number 7, we've got the space to fit all the sleeping equipment. Even though it couldn't fit the pillows in there, it can still fit the thick sleeping bag that I've got and an extra blanket, which is really good. That was a very big thing for my partner and I. Number 8, we've got the lights on the inside. That is quite handy when it's night time. You can just turn them on, and I like the fact that it has the red light feature, which means that the bugs aren't attracted to it. That's a very nice thing. Number 9, the X-frame is super strong. That was the biggest concerning factor for me, was the fact that the frame wasn't going to be strong enough to be against the wind, but while recording that video you could hear the wind was going off and everything like that. It was not moving an inch. And number 10, we've got the strong struts. They've been tried and tested on all of their tents. It's pretty much the exact same struts on all of them. They don't fail, they don't wear, they don't fall when it gets cold or anything like that. It is really well done. But moving on to the cons, at number 1 we have the weight, which is a major downside to this tent. It's 89 kilos, and that all up high isn't a very good thing at all. But because we had the touring setup, I thought it was alright. The second con was the seals fold under at the back next to the X-frame. That was one thing that you need to look out for. Honestly, it's just the flap that folds over the top of the seal, but still you don't want it folding under and water getting in, so that's just something to look out for when closing up the tent. So here are all the pros and all the cons listed together. There are obviously a lot more pros than there are cons. Obviously I've given this 23Zero Saber Max tent a high rating, so you know, if 23Zero wants to sponsor us, my email is down below. So I reckon that pretty much concludes part 1. I'm going to be filming the second part in maybe about 1.5 months now. We're planning another trip. It's going to be a like 4 to 5 kind of night trip, so that will definitely test how durable it is. And I'll definitely get footage of that to add to part 2. I guess other than that, please leave any comments that you'd like to know about the tent, and I'll get back to you straight away with that. And anything else you'd like me to cover in part 2, I can definitely do that as well. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. Otherwise, this has been Off-Road Rookies.